So the reason why I got Andre on here is because, you know, a lot of stuff been going on here in this wonderful city of Cincinnati. The Queen City, even though growing up in North Carolina, I say Charlotte's the real Queen City, but we're not going to get into that debate.
Yo, people in this area will say Baltimore is the Queen City. So I understand what the definition of Queen City is. Hey, I crown them all. You can have more than one queen.
You want to crown them? To crown that ass.
Okay. That's right. Or who we thought they were.
Not my hook. All right. So well, I'm a Cincinnati resident. Obviously, my wife's a Cincinnati native, as is Andre. So we'll give some love to Cincinnati right quick. So a lot of things have been happening, and one of them has an HBCU connection, which we'll get into later. But anyway, it's baseball season now. We've been going back and forth about, you know, and we have a text group of just us Lion brothers. A lot of them, except for maybe 2 or 3 of us, are Reds fans, and all from the Cincinnati area, greater Cincinnati area.
Oh, so all of you guys are baseball fans?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I have to ask this. I have to ask this question. This is just for personal knowledge because of the conversation that I've had constantly. You guys are baseball fans because you were introduced to baseball as children, right?
Yes. Correct.
Just wanted to make sure. All right, I don't want to ask about the family dynamic. No, seriously, because that's another part of the conversation.
Yeah.
But the fact that you were introduced to it as a child has something to do with the reason why you're a fan now. Okay, yeah, that was something that I wanted to confirm to myself. But yeah, that's an ongoing conversation. I'll talk to you guys about that after the show.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
Cool, yeah. So basically, my grandfather introduced me to baseball when I was 10. And so my Western grandfather in Brooklyn. So that's where I get my love for baseball. First, my grandfather. Rest in peace. But yeah, so anyway, we're talking about the Reds. Now, I was mad, and I told you this, Dwayne, a few weeks ago when we were previewing MLB.
Yeah.
I was mad about
when you said Reds. I say, okay, we about to get into this one.
Yeah, because I told my man Andre this too. I told Ace this. I was like, yo, I was bitching about why did they not bring back Trevor Bauer? I was bitching about that for the whole offseason, right?
Yes.
And so my man, like I call Andre Ace because he was the ace of our line. I told Ace, I was like, yo, you closer to this than I am. So enlighten me, because I didn't understand this for a long time, because, you know, you're in it to you it's professional sports. You're into when I get the small markets have the smaller margin of error. They say the Yankees, the Cubs, Red Sox, we go on and on. And the Dodgers, by the way. The rich keep getting richer, speaking of Trevor Bauer. But anyway, the Reds are doing pretty good. They're off to a good start. I know it's like maybe not even 20 games to 162, but they're doing well. They're very talented. They're first place in the NL Central. So let me just bring this conversation back home here. So Andre, tell us about the dynamics of Cincinnati Reds, like as far as fans like me, like bitching about not re-signing Trevor Bauer or making all the cost-cutting moves the last few seasons leading up to this point. So just enlighten us from a fan's point of view about why Cincinnati does what they do.
So I think I need to start with a caveat of I wish that we had an ownership group that was willing to go into its own pocket to make this team better, right? If there was one wish that I would like to wave a magic wand over the Cincinnati Reds, it would be to have an ownership group that doesn't care whether we make money or not, right? Now, what you have currently in the Castellinis is a guy who doesn't necessarily want to make money, but he does not want to lose money, right? His goal, and he said this, he said it in multiple interviews, is to break even. So anything that he makes from a profit standpoint, if you believe him at his word, is to take any and all profits and put them back into the team, whether that's improving the facilities, whether that's, getting different players, re-signing players, restructuring contracts, all those things. So as long as he's to the positive or down to zero, we're good. The issue became last year, like with everything else, COVID hit. You couldn't sell any tickets. You don't have the same revenue streams from a network perspective like the Yankees, who have their own network, or the Dodgers, or the Cubs, or any of those things. You're on at that time Fox Sports Ohio, right? Or now it's called Valley Sports, which I can't even watch a damn Reds game in my own house, which is ridiculous.
Oh, wow. That's a whole other conversation.
So ridiculous. Yeah. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. But like I said, those contracts, they lost, I can't remember the number, but I would just say he came up significantly behind from a revenue perspective, based upon not being able to sell tickets, not being able to sell concessions, losing 100 games, and if you split that in half, 50 games that would have been at home, right, that they lost due to the pandemic. So that is a significant portion of money that now he has to dip into his own coffers to be able to cover. Well, if I lost $60 million, while I may have, $750 million, well, now I'm down to $690 million. So I had to spend $60 million to get me back to zero on this baseball team that's supposed to be my side hustle, right? Like this is my for fun money. This is my play money. Play money is not supposed to interfere with daddy's every day, right? But now play money is interfering with daddy's every day. We need to make some changes. We got to make some decisions, because I'm not going to dip back into my coffers again next year. Yeah. So then it comes to, you look at, all right, Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is going to command a significant chunk of money. Is the investment worth it to me? Because I know that money is going to have to come out of my pocket.
Right.
Is that what I want to do? I don't know. We got Sonny Gray. We got Luis Castillo, who's been pitching like trash this year, but that's okay. Sonny Gray, we got Luis Castillo. We got a couple other dudes that we think, Tyler Malley. We got a couple other dudes we think can make this, rotation work. Will we be okay with losing by far the best pitcher from an ace perspective that we've had? But will we be okay enough if you think about it long term, in a 7-game series where I can pitch Sonny Gray twice, where I can get Castillo in there a time, maybe 2 times? Do we really need a Trevor Bauer at $35 million a year, or can we get by with this, right? You got a pitching coach you really believe in, who you're like, okay, maybe we can move Raisel Iglesias, maybe we can move a couple other pieces, bring in some cheaper pieces that my pitching coach has been shown to be able to work on reclamation projects and bring them in and make them usable pieces, viable pieces, right? And so financially, it just made sense to do it this way. And again, I want to be very clear. I wish the Reds had an ownership group that was okay with losing money and dipping into their own pockets. I'm not going to fault a man for not wanting to spend his own money.
Of course, not would I.
And he's not hurting, because the Reds are worth over $1 billion. If he was hurting, he would just sell the team, right?
Yeah.
He came in and bought it for $250 million or whatever it was at the time. It's worth well over $1 billion at this point. So if you're hurting, just sell the team. Right. Not hurting, but I also don't want to dip into my own pockets.
Correct.
And that's where the conflict